as fun as that was, and by the way, we got great news out of Chicago too. I'm just going to tell you later on, later in the stream, we're going to go over the arraignment. We're going to go over a massive win in Chicago. And we've got some what you can do type stuff that I think people are going to be surprised by at first and then wonder why nobody's ever done this. I'm looking forward to it. But first, got some real disturbing developments in the Roy McGrath case. If you're not familiar, over in Tennessee, Roy McGrath, the Maryland governor's former chief of staff, was killed after an agent-involved shooting. Fun fact, in the news industry, police will often send us a press release about an officer-involved shooting, and you can tell who's a skilled newsman and who's not based on whether or not they accept that phrasing. The reason why is an officer-involved shooting, or in this case, an agent-involved shooting. That phrase really removes responsibility. Now, for the record, this Roy McGrath character sounds like scum of the earth. Sounds like a genuinely bad human being, based on what I've heard. He also sounds like he's done nothing that's worthy of getting killed over. In general, I am not in favor with people who are carrying a badge in my name, killing people. I give no one permission to take a life. How about that? I give no one permission to do so in my name. Let's have a look at some local reporting to tell us about it. I don't think the local reporting is great in terms of how they phrase it, but I still overall like the report because they had some details that even CBS didn't have.
And that's right, and McGrath's attorney is confirming his death to 11 News. This comes just 3 weeks to the day that McGrath was supposed to show up here at District Court in Baltimore for the start of his federal fraud trial. Now, the FBI says that at around 6:30 tonight, agents tracked him to the outskirts of Knoxville, Tennessee, in a commercial area off the Kingston Pike heading south. And that's where the FBI says McGrath was hurt in a shooting involving one of their agents. Now, his attorney, Joe Murtha, is confirming that he died after that shooting, telling us, quote, the loss of...
Okay, he was hurt in a shooting. And he died following that shooting. That's weak. That's weak sauce, and we got to call this out. This is a good example of bad reporting. And by the way, don't be too hard on this kid. At the level he's at, go back for a second. I feel like people should be more familiar with how the local news works. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this right here.
And that's right, and McGrath's attorney is confirming his death to 11 News.
I'm standing, and now I walk to the side. And the cameraman zooms in on a location. I'll tell you this, the fact that he has a cameraman, or person, or whatever, and didn't just have to set that shot up himself, says that he's from a big local station. But I'm just sympathetic. Is all I'm saying. I've seen that many times, and I've also... I know what kind of schedule he's under. That guy rolled into work. They said, "You're on McGrath. Here's what the police say. You've got 4 hours," or whatever the hell, 6 hours, 8 hours, however long he had. It might seem like nothing for a 2-minute segment till you realize he had to gather all this information. The point is, I'm being hard on him because it's important to get this right, and it's important that you understand what it looks like when it's gotten wrong. But that's not to say he's a bad reporter. Who's a famous football guy? I'm sure Dan Marino fumbled plenty of times. Dating myself there. Doesn't mean he's a bad reporter, but that was badly done right here. Anyway, the point is, don't just leave it. Well, you shouldn't if you hear your local folks just leave it alone at a thing happened, and on the other side of it, or the police entered a building, and so did the suspect. Then a thing happened, and on the other side, the police walked away and the suspect was dead. Anyway, that's the end of the case. Not acceptable. He does have an additional detail, though, that I didn't read that I didn't see in the other articles.
Now his attorney Joe Murtha is confirming that he died after that shooting, telling us, quote, the loss of Roy's life was
Died after that shooting. Come on. What you should be listening for is at least them acknowledging that they asked the FBI, okay, how did he die? And that they refused to say, which I'm sure they didn't do. So they can't say that here.
It's a terrible tragedy, and I think it's important for me to say on his behalf, he never wavered on his innocence. McGrath has been a wanted fugitive for the past 3 weeks. Federal prosecutors contend that he misled officials at the Maryland Environmental Service, where he served as executive director, by implying former Governor Larry Hogan supported paying him $233,000 in severance to become Hogan's chief of staff. Now, Hogan denied approving that severance, and McGrath resigned as chief of staff in August 2020. He faced fraud and theft charges relating to that payout. Now, just within the last few minutes, we are hearing from former Governor Hogan about McGrath's death. He tells us, quote, Yumi and I are deeply saddened by this tragic situation. We're praying for Mr. McGrath's family and loved ones. Now, there are still several questions surrounding McGrath's death, such as what led agents to his location and just the circumstances surrounding his death. But of course, we are working to learn more information about that. And of course, when we get that information, we will bring that to you on air and online at WBALTV.com.
Yeah, so I didn't know that the governor already gave a statement. Quick. And I was glad to hear that they at least, they didn't come out and, I guess, jump on it with both feet, but he acknowledged there's questions remaining. Why did they kill? You see that Poindexter? Was he really that much of a danger? Here's the thing. This is not a what you can do, because I'm not fully confident that it's the right thing to do. I just want to be clear. And by the way, if you're the group I'm about to address, just understand that I'm acknowledging that it's shocking that I would have the balls to suggest this. So feel free just to give it a hearty no thanks, Jake. Nice try, but no thanks. But hear it out. You're a Black Lives Matter protester. Like me, for example. You've gone out to those protests. I might consider organizing a protest for this man. Was this guy a good guy? Nope. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like a straight up criminal. Seems like a genuinely bad human being. Is it a great loss to the world? I have no idea. But what is the point? What's the purpose of the Black Lives Matter protests? Is it that Black lives are special above other lives? No. It's that Black lives matter as well. It's that Black lives are unnaturally endangered in the United States for no damn reason. That's the core of it. What is the racist response to the Black Lives Matter protests? The phrase, all lives matter. Here's a little curious thing. It wiggled into my mind. Can't let it go. What bridge building could be done if the Black Lives Matter organizers got behind this shooting death? We don't have, for the record, we don't have the full details yet. This guy could have. It's why I'm hanging on this so much. He could have been armed. You know, these GOP folks, they're they're a dangerous group. They tend to carry guns and they're irresponsible with them, as long as we're pushing cruel narratives. But no, he could have been armed. He could have fired at the FBI. I'm sure we would have heard about it if that was the case. I suspect we've got a couple of trigger-happy agents really going over in their heads how they can piece together events in such a way that they come out looking like they didn't just execute a nerd. But if it comes out, the details come out that this killing didn't have to happen, not for the benefit of this guy, not for the benefit of white people mistreated. I think there would be benefit in Black Lives Matter protesters going out, wearing the Black Lives Matter gear, the shirts, carrying the signs even, and protesting over this guy's death. Why? Why? To show a group of people that were so sure they knew what this was all about, and were wrong, by the way, what it is really all about. To show them the principle behind the action. The point is not to get justice for this guy. The point, just like the point wasn't really to get justice for George Floyd. Both of them are dead. There's no justice to be had for him. That's a bitter fact of life. The point of protesting for this dead, white, former Republican would be the same as the purpose of protesting for George Floyd. It's to stop another needless killing of a black man or woman. Really, to stop needless killings in general. But I think protests over this guy's killing, particularly because it shares a lot of the exterior similarities as any other casual police killing, could win people over to the side of Black Lives Matter. People who are either on the fence or who simply assumed they knew what it was about. Will it win them over altogether all at once? No, I don't think so. But it will give a ton of people pause to say, maybe I got that wrong. Because I would have thought these people would be celebrating in the streets. Maybe I should re-examine what that movement was all about. It gives us a chance to have the work that was already done re-examined. Worth thinking about.